Alright kids, we're exploring again, and this time we're on Allensville Road, a road that I tried to explore a couple of months ago when there was still snow on the ground, and it just wasn't going to happen. So here we are, it's the beginning of May, and we're trying her again. Because we got a semi-decent night. It's been raining on and off all day, but that's alright, that's never stopped us before. And we're going to see where the hell this goes. And this one's probably not going to be too story-filled, because we didn't make a list. And we just did a story-based video the other night. So this one is mostly just going to be about the exploration. And if I do think of something to talk about during this whole little ordeal, I will, but that's not going to be the focus this time. And I'm trying to remember just how far up in here I made it the last time I tried this. So, yeah. But we're here. We are definitely on Allensville Road, approaching Flat Road, which I think is where I stopped the last time, because there was a dead end that went off to the right, and then I think the main road continued on to the left. So that's what we're going to try and do anyway. And I'm not driving this time for two reasons. One, because my car, the exhaust likes to drag on, you know, dirt roads like this. And two, right before we left, I kind of fucked up my hand. So yeah, to make a long story short, pay attention when you're playing with hammers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened and I let it happen. All right, but we're moving now. Like, that's not gonna stop us. You know, I've fucked myself up worse than that in the past and kept on going. Yeah, this, right where we are now, this very spot is all the further I made it the last time I tried to do this by myself. So we are now officially into new territory, and we're approaching one wicked-ass set of turns and Martin Gap Road. I have a hunch where this is going to end up, but I don't know for sure, because prior to today, I have never been any further than where we are now on this road. At least not to my recollection. So here we go. This is the first time in a while I think we've really explored, you know, uncharted territory for us.
Yep.
Because, you know, the past few videos like this we've done, we've traveled mostly places we've been before or not too far out of it. This is completely new for us, so we are definitely on a random night road trip. So, yeah. And earlier today, you know, I'll tell a little story just to kind of fill in the gap until we get somewhere. We were gonna tear apart this box, this big wooden box in his backyard that was apparently originally a compost pile.
For a bin.
Right, a bin to keep compost in. We were gonna tear it apart, you know, cut it up and burn it. Well, we threw it on the lawnmower trailer. And we just kind of threw it on there half-assed, but, you know, I got to looking at it and I got to thinking, you know, if we cut that to fit this thing, that would actually kind of work as like a trailer extension, you know, to make the sidewalls taller.
Yep.
So that's what we did. We set it on there, you know, with the two sides hanging off so we could measure how big we need to make it. Got out the chainsaw and some screws and other shit and found some hardware, and damn it, we built a bigger set of sides for the trailer.
Yep.
So it now holds about 2.5 times its previous load capacity. And as we were finishing this thing, I was looking at it, and to me, it kind of looked like an old railroad car. And some of you probably don't know this. In fact, I'm betting most of you don't know this. I kind of fancy me some old school country music. So the first name for this thing that popped into my head was Boxcar Willie's Limo. And that is what we christened this thing.
Yep.
Boxcar Willie's Limo. So for any of you old-time country buffs, there you are. Alright. That was just a little small story to throw into this one. And right now we're approaching
Ash Lane.
Ash Lane. Not much else to say about that because I have no idea where or what that is. I do see a lot of lights down that way. I don't know if you folks can see any. We got a little bit of a sliver of a moon out tonight. Yeah, there's some lights over yonder there. I'm not 100% sure what we're looking at, but there they are. So here we go. We're still approaching Ash Lane. And looking at the GPS, I don't see anything that shoots off of here that could possibly be a lane.
Yet.
Then again, you know, there's a lot of little unmarked roads here and there and everywhere, so it could be just about anywhere. I thought it might be that, but that's just a pull-off. So I really have no idea what we're about to find. And getting back to things that we did today and how I fucked up my hand. It actually wasn't working on the trailer. It was right before we decided what we were actually going to record tonight. And we were just screwing around with more shit on that was spread out on top of the table saw that we were sitting at whenever we did the drunk wiring challenge. Which, as of us recording right now, I have not finished uploading yet. I started it before I left the house, but anyway. We were just rooting through shit, just, you know, trying to brainstorm some ideas of what to do, and we found this piece of metal, and I was trying to bend it to make something out of it, just for shits and giggles, and I hammered the very end of my finger and cut it, not real bad, but enough that it hurt like a sumbitch. So that's how I did that. We finally stumbled upon where Ash Lane is. It's a very short-ass lane up ahead here. We're going back down now. We were going uphill before, we're going downhill now. I know that's kind of hard to, you know. Okay, serious fucking-ly. The sign says rough road. No goddamn shit. We couldn't tell that this was a rough road. Of all the stupid signs I've ever seen ever in, you know, the 26 and a half years of my existence, that is officially the stupidest fucking road sign I've ever seen. If you can't tell that this is a rough road, you should not be behind the wheel of a fucking car. What was I babbling about before I got pissed off at that sign?
I don't know.
Right. I don't either. So I'm just gonna think of something else to talk about. Oh, I get tongue-tied a lot. Can you tell?
Yeah.
It now says that we're driving on Allensville Mountain Road, which, you know, was the whole idea. So, not really sure what exactly we're approaching. There's a lot of little side roads coming up here, but we're approaching something. Not sure what, but we're approaching it.
Could be approaching Allensville.
Could be. I mean, that is an actual place, for those who don't know. There is an Allensville very close to us, you know, generally speaking. You know, I've been through there several times, you know. There's not much to see because it's kind of on the edge of Amish country, but it's there. You know, so that may very well be where we end up. I don't know. 11 Springs Trail ahead. Are there really 11 springs there? That is the question.
I don't know.
If there's not 11 springs there, I may just very well be disappointed. And, you know, if I was in a little bit more of an anal mood right now, I would stop and count them just to be sure. Because that's just the kind of person I am. Hey, there's a cabin for sale. I'd be jumping at that shit. Alright, I said there weren't going to be a lot of stories in this one. I guess I lied because I just thought of another one because that place reminded me of something. In the Workbench Stories video, we talked about the shitty high school that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at one point, we both went to the elementary school, not far from said high school.
Yeah.
And it shut down back in the early 2000s when they built a new one.
Yep.
They still used it for different things. The school district still, like used it for different whatevers. They had like preschool in there or some shit like that. Anyway, here just within the past couple of weeks, the school district sold it as part of an auction because they decided that it was no longer worth the bother to keep it up. Now, you would think that a nice big building like that with a lot of potential would have a lot of potential buyers, right?
Right.
One person bid on the place. Now, let's play a little game of prices right here. How much do you people think this one guy paid for this building? Did he pay $100,000? Did he pay $10,000? Mind you, this is an elementary school with roughly, I'd say, 30 classrooms in it, give or take. Did he pay $1 million for it? All right, now, I want you to rack your little brains here. Did he pay any of those three amounts for this building? Again, your choices were $100,000, $10,000, or $1 million. All right, if you picked any of those, you're wrong. The actual retail price of the building was $1,000.
$1,000
The guy that owns the pizza place in the town where I live paid $1,000 for the school that we went to. There was a lot of people at the auction and they bought all the shit that was in the building, but only one person bid on the actual building. And I don't remember what the starting number was when the auctioneer started. I want to say it was like $100 grand, and it dropped clean down to $1,000. Now, the reason I say that is because if I would have known that, I would have made for damn sure I would have attended that auction and bought that place.
Yeah.
Because you think we do some crazy fucked up shit now. If I could have bought a school building with 30 plus classrooms in it, a cafeteria slash auditorium, a full-size gym with bleacher seats and padded walls, and Lord knows one of these days I'm gonna need padded walls. All the basic, amenities of a school building. Holy shit, the stuff I could have done with that place.
Yeah. We could have moved in.
We could have turned part of it into living quarters and made the rest of it into whatever the fuck we wanted. That could have been Junkaholics World headquarters right there.
Yeah.
And we would have had our own little private place to do whatever the fuck we wanted in. But no, that was a completely missed opportunity. And if I was just a little bit more stubborn than I am right now, I would be calling that guy and saying, hey buddy, how much do you want for the place? Because it's got a full, blacktop playground outside, lots of places where we could do shit. But it didn't happen. And as I've been speaking, we're now back on the paved road. So we're now in something resembling civilization. Is it Allentown? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Because I have not seen any signs that indicate exactly where we are yet.
Nope.
All I see is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. And that don't tell me much. There's a mill road ahead, I could see that much. And a
Cedar Crest Lane.
Cedar Crest Lane and a West Main Street. So we're approaching West Main Street of some fucking where. Presumably Allentown.
Allensville.
Allentown and Allensville are two different things. but it's 11:45 at night and my brain is not functioning at full capacity. Allensville, not Allentown. Allentown is somewhere fucking else, and maybe we'll go there someday, but not now.
Yeah.
Allensville is where I think we are. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Okay, we're right next to Days Gone By Carriage Rides. Yeah, we're in Allensville. All right, that's where we are.
Left or right?
I do not give a shit. I guess we're going left. All right. So yeah, we are officially in Allensville. So we're just outside of Amish land. So now the next question is, where in the hell do we go next? And I think that question will be answered in the next segment. Alright, we're back. And now we're headed towards Milroy, another town that you've probably never heard of unless you're from there. So, thought up some more shit to talk about. And the one I'm going to start with is actually a follow-up, the one we talked about. I think it was last time or maybe the time before. Whatever, doesn't matter. I told the story about my crazy neighbor and buying the plastic pig. Well, the same day, at this same yard sale we were having, he had this box that had partial dentures in them. Really old ones, mind you. Where, why, how, and every other sort of shit that I could possibly ask about these things, I don't know and I don't want to know.
No.
Because if you knew this guy, you would know better than to question these sorts of things. But anyway, someone actually bought them. This big guy, he was, fat. He was a fat guy, all right? He's wearing a nice suit, but, he was kind of a roly-poly. And he bought these. What his reason for buying them was, I will never know. And again, I probably do not want to know. But it happened. And getting back to this yard sale, this is something I probably should have told in Workbench Stories, but I'm telling it now because fuck it. When else am I going to get a chance to talk about it? I've always been a tinkerer. I like to, mess with stuff. Even at a young age, I did this stuff. Well, we had these two old broken vacuum cleaners, mind you, just upright vacuum cleaners sitting in our attic. Because, we went through a lot. And, anyway, one of them had the wheels broken clear off, and the other one just didn't work. Didn't work. I can't talk tonight. Fuck it. So I got the brilliant idea to try and Frankenstein them together. Now, one was a Bissell and one was a Eureka. Two completely different brands made two completely different ways. But in my sick, twisted mind, I just knew sure as hell that I could make these work together. So I took the bottom part, like the brush head and all that shit, off of the one that didn't run. And I took everything else from the other one. Took you know what I'm talking about. Bottom and top. And I tried to make them fit together.
Right.
So they didn't quite fit. So I'm, was taking whatever tools I could find in the basement, and I cut the brush head part. I don't know the technical terms for parts of a fucking vacuum cleaner, so bear with me here. And I wedged it together, monkeyed the belt on so the brush would turn, and then I just duct taped the fuck out of this thing.
Can't duck it, fuck it.
That's right. And I took it with me to this yard sale because, god damn it, I was going to sell this sumbitch. Surprisingly, I actually did. My neighbor who was with me convinced me to sell it to these people who were very desperate for a vacuum cleaner for 50 cents. So I actually managed to sell that piece of shit. And it looks like we're coming up on a closed road here soon. So we are going to need to find an alternate route here pretty damn soon.
Yep.
Because in a quarter mile, the road's closed. So we're going to need to come up with a plan B. But yeah, that was all part of that yard sale that we had. That was the same day as the plastic pig story. And we're coming up on a dead fucking end here, so we're going to have to turn the hell around. So, yeah, we kind of fucked up. Up there, where that truck is going, is the main highway where we probably should be. We're turning around right now. Where we probably should be, but we're not because we're stupid. Anywho, unless we make a left up here somewhere. We might end up somewhere if we make a left. I don't know. I'm not the one driving, so I really don't care where the hell we go. But anyway, I talk a lot about my my neighbor and his son, who was, you know, my good friend at the time. You know, back then we were kind of like best friends. I mean, as we got older, we kind of drifted apart. But anyway, we used to build a lot of crazy shit. Now, I talked about some of my workbench creations. This time I'm going to talk about some of the stuff we created outside. And we were always desperate to have some sort of clubhouse or something like that, because we just thought that was the greatest fucking thing a person could ever possibly do. And I think that's normal for a lot of kids who grow up in like a rural environment. You know, that's a normal thing. But we took it to the extreme. Now, I believe I already told the story about the fiberglass dome that we used to have, so I'm not going to go on about that one. But after that was long gone, we didn't want to quite give up. So for a while, we just threw a plastic tarp over the clothesline that we had in my backyard at that time, and we just staked the ends of it to the ground, and that was what we used for a little while. And we used that for like one summer, and then we gave up on it. Well, then one year we just used a tent, regular old, you know, camping tent. And that lasted for a while. Well, then we got to thinking, well, a tent's not really a clubhouse now, is it? Well, of course not, you know. Why the fuck would you think something that stupid? So, we decided we were going to build one from scratch. Now, mind you, you know, we were not more than 10, 11, 12 years old when we were doing most of this stuff. Now, this guy that I used to hang out with when we were kids, you know, and his dad being the crazy neighbor that I still have to this day, the kids, the grandmother lived down the road from us in an old farmhouse. And of course it would have been his dad's mother, but anyway, we called her Graham. I'm going to refer to her as Graham through the rest of this for the sake of simplicity, because to this day, even I still call her Graham because that's what I know her as. But anyway, we went down to Graham's place, and she had this old shed that was like falling in on itself, and we tore it down, and we took the leftover wood and tin back up to their house, which is right across the way from where I live. Like, they lived in that house that I talked about where we did the Arians in the snow and the Chrome Star Runner 2 burnouts and shit like that. That's where they live. This is where most of this shit happened. But anyway, we took the leftover scrap wood and tin, and we tried to build some sort of clubhouse type thing in the lot across the road from their house. Now, mind you, at that age, we did not know jack shit about carpentry. So keep in mind, this is like a couple of 10, 11-year-old kids trying to build a building. Like a legit building. Like, I'm not making this shit up. This is what we used to do when we were kids. We tried to bend a sheet of tin 90 degrees to make 2 walls out of it. I'm not sure how we accomplished that, but somehow we did. We bent a sheet of corrugated tin to make 2 walls. This thing, when we were all done with it, was a fucking piece of fucking shit. This looked worse than the clubhouse that Ed, and Eddie built in that cartoon. Like, for those of you that remember what I'm talking, I'm not going to put the clip in there, copyright bullshit. I'm not going to put the clip in there, but if you've seen that episode, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
This thing was a worse piece of shit than that. We never even got it completely finished, and we gave up and tore it down. It was that much of a piece of shit. I mean, we had not a fucking clue what we were doing. Well, like a year or 2 later, we tried to build a tree house in the woods near my house. Like back there in the trees and shit where I talked about in the looking back thing, back in there. We used some of the same materials that were still left over from this other piece of shit we built. Plus there was another old shed in the empty lot next to my house that was falling apart. So we took some of the leftover materials from that. And there was a bunch of scrap wood in my basement, like an old potato bin that we tore apart, and whatever wood we could get our grubby little mitts on. And we found a tree that kind of forked in the middle and made like a V, and that was where we attempted to build a tree house. We spent a good while building this thing. Like, it was made out of scrap wood and tin. And we even managed to put a roof on this thing, if you can fucking believe that. We even built a ladder from scratch. We just nailed a bunch of boards to the tree and made a ladder. And while this thing was about as shitty as our first creation, it wasn't quite as bad. But anyway, we left this thing up for a while. We only used it a couple of times. We'd go up in there and just kind of sit in there and, we didn't really do much, but it was cool to us because we made it. And we decided to try and build like a rope and pulley system to raise and lower shit up into this thing. Why? Beats the fuck out of me, I don't know. Well, we didn't have any proper pulleys to work with. So we took a plastic wagon wheel and nailed it to the side of the, we nailed it to the tree is where we nailed it to. And we thought for some reason that would work as a pulley for a rope. It didn't. Plain and simple, it didn't work. Well, we left this thing up for a couple of months, and then we got tired of it, so we tore it down. So yeah, it's not there anymore, but that was another weird thing that we built. I mean, we were always building contraptions and things like that, trying to build a clubhouse or some shit like that. And not long after that, they were trying to build a shed in their yard, but they weren't trying to build it, on a flat surface. They were trying to build it in the side of a hill. So we actually took a bunch of shovels and pickaxes and shit, and we dug the side of this hill out right by their house, right by their basement door. We dug that all out by hand and built a tin shed that is still standing to this day, believe it or not. We actually, it was, the 3 of us, we built this tin shed in the side of the hill, and it's still there. I mean, it's just got a dirt floor in it, but it's there. It's got a sliding door on it, and it works. Well, my neighbor, being my neighbor, goes through lawnmowers like most people go through underwear. So his solution to that is to buy several. And they didn't all fit in this shed that we built. So we built another shed up above it on the flat surface. It looked about like that first clubhouse that I talked about when we were done. It was just 4 posts stuck in the dirt with tin around it. And it was a piece of shit. So yeah, old habits, die hard. Yeah. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. So, we're going to try and find another back road here soon, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one a segment, and we'll come back if we find another place to explore. Alright, we're back again, and we're now on Ferguson Valley Road, which is a road that goes for a good long while, but eventually actually ends up right near my house. But I wanted to talk about this road, getting back to my crazy neighbor. I talk about him a lot in these videos, but he just provides so much material. Like, you just don't know. Like, this could be a whole series in itself. But anyway, on this very road that we are traveling right now in this very direction, like, back behind us a couple of miles is Kmart and the Giant store where we were at when we got cake. But anyway, this road, we were coming back from, I don't remember exactly where we were, but I know we were on this road coming back. And I know you can't see much now because it's nighttime, but this road's got a lot of dips and turns and all sorts of gnarly shit going on. And we were in his old Chevy pickup. And for reasons that no sensible human being will ever comprehend, he decides to go 90 on this road.
The whole fucking way.
The whole fucking way from about Kmart to where we live. Yeah, 90. Like, if it was daytime right now, you would not fully understand why that is a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. I mean, even at night, I'm sure you can kind of get the idea why that's not exactly a wise decision. But yeah, 90 miles an hour in an 86 Chevy on this road, balls to the wall nonstop. And of course, when we were kids, we thought that was awesome. But now as adults, that would probably make me shit my pants.
I mean, I'm going...
We're going about 55 right now, yeah. And, yeah. Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible idea. Like, a sensible person, which usually we're not, but a sensible person would not go 90 on pretty much any road. Unless you're, like, on the fucking freeway or some shit. But not on some, backwoods bumpkin road like we're on now. So yeah, that was interesting. I mean, we thought it was awesome. Then looking back on it, it's like, seriously, what the fuck? It's like, that's not even right. You got 2 kids in the truck with you, and a dog, by the way. They had a Dalmatian that they took every fucking where. Yeah, so 2 kids and a dog, and my neighbor driving on this road doing 90. Yeah. That's just a little bit crazy. Speaking of which, one time we were traveling again in his old truck, and he had a pap cap on the back. If you don't know what a pap cap is, that's our terminology for just a truck cap. But anyway, he had pap cap on this thing. And he had the dog back there. Because he could. Instead of, up in the front seat with us like usual. Anywho. we were on another back road, not this one, but one very similar to it. And there is this hill. And it just kind of drops right off and goes into a big dip. Well, of course, you know, the gears started turning in his twisted mind. And he floors it. We ramp off of this sumbitch, and we turn around, and the dog is in the bed of the truck floating like an astronaut in outer space. And then we hit the ground. And we slide for a few yards up somebody's driveway. Yeah. The dog was fine, for those of you wondering, but that, to us, that was funny as shit. You know. And, you know, I bring that up to mention that years later, when I used to have my old van, I did the same thing.
Fuck yeah.
Because, you know, why the hell not? Because I used to have an 88 GMC, which was very, very similar to that truck.
Mm-hmm.
And you just couldn't resist the urge.
Yeah.
Just balls to the wall off of that hill. Just... boom! That little bit of hang time before you hit.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, I've had my fair share of crazy ass moments like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about all I got, and this whole video has been nothing but me babbling this whole time. So you got anything?
Nope.
Nope. All right, well, we're done then. That's it for this one. We're getting close to home base again. So as per usual, like, subscribe, comment, and all that happy horse shit. We'll see you next time.